welcome back to ScaleSpeedworks. My name's Mike. In part 1, we got through steps 1, 2, and 3. Let's pick up right here with step 4. Remember, in the last video, I showed you how this wasn't really level, and I had to cut the pins in the back and pull it down. Well, I think it worked out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with how that sits. So we're going to move on here. And in the last video, you also saw how I trimmed this back piece to fit in there. And we got it to fit really well. It looks really, really solid right now. So let's get some extra thin. And let's put that on here. So when I repositioned this front piece, it had an issue with clearing these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim these off. You're not going to see them, and you're not going to miss them. That fits much, much better. Let's get that lined up where I want it. Get some extra thin on there. This is actually my favorite method of applying extra thin. Holding the part in place, just touching that brush to the corner where the parts meet, holding it for just a second. That's all that needs to be done. Yeah, that looks excellent. Really, really happy with that. So before we get this one on, we're going to do the same thing. Excellent. Let's grab this one. Beautiful. Perfect fit. I love it. Just what I wanted. A little bit of glue on there. Perfect. Yeah, just what I wanted. That looks fantastic. All right, so let's move on to here. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to examine this one that's already built. And I know it's in black, it might be a little hard to see, but I just wanted to see how everything looks. So there are these side panels. You can see that's empty. I already have those cut out, but it's important to see which one goes where. So that one looks like it goes on that side. I'm going to glue this in first. And instead of using the extra thin on this one, I think, you know what? I think the extra thin might be just fine on here. But that's not the fit that I want. So this is going to be puttied in and fixed a little bit later. Let's touch the extra thin in there. Make sure I have plenty on my brush. Hold that for just a second. Okay, let's do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to take a little sandpaper to that, clean that up just a little bit. Yeah, the fit isn't fantastic, but I think it's going to be all right. Hold that for just a bit. Check that side. Yeah, pretty happy with that, but that will be filled in. I'm not concerned about that. Right now, let's get the rest of this done. So we have this piece that's finished. Check the fit. Excellent. Now, it's going to be a little hard to get in there. I did say that this glue is a little bit slower setting. It's also a little bit thicker, might fill in some gaps. We're going to use this on the bottom. And I really don't care how messy I am, because again, this is going to be on the bottom. This used to be my favorite glue to use as a kid. Always, always the orange tube, never the blue one. All right, hold that for just a second. We actually might need a clamp or a couple of clamps to hold this. So let me get those. We're going to leave those clamps on while we get the other pieces glued in. Looks like that one goes there. We have this piece. Again, keep an eye on the directions. Look at the notch. Looks like there's a notch right there. So let's test fit this, make sure everything fits. All right, it's a little tight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit off of here. I'm going to take a little bit off of this side as well. All right, we're going to call that good. Make sure this goes in the right way. We're going to use extra thin on this one. Let that set up for just a minute. All right, check the fit of this one. This one we're going to go back to the tester cement. All right, let's see if we can get this piece in here. Perfect. Now, the reason I went back to the tester cement is because I am going to need to want to pinch these sides just a little bit. The other thing I could use is super glue with this stuff, the accelerator. All right, so we got that in there. Everything's there. Let's move on to the next step. This one's pretty easy. So these are keyed, and I know it's hard to see, but trust me, it's keyed. So, and I did sand this piece down like I said I was going to. Let's do this. I'm going to put some of that onto there. Make sure that keys into there. Then what I'm going to do is we're going to touch the extra thin right in here. That's glued down. Perfect. I like it. And then this piece will key in to that side. All right. And you see, this piece, not a big deal. That could really be put in later. So I'm not too concerned about that. Let's get this one in here. A little bit more extra thin. Perfect. All right, let's get this piece in there. Oh, perfect. We can see where this one goes. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get extra thin in there with a piece in there. We're just going to put a little bit in there, a little bit more. Get that in there just like so. All right, so there is a little play with these pieces. So what I did is I rotated them just a little bit to hide the groove that this sits into. So we're going to let that set up. So I think for now, we're going to leave this here. Again, I'm going to put a clamp on here to keep that nice and secure. And we'll come back and we'll see how much we could get through next time. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on the next installment.